Hey guys, Mark the Guitar Guy here. Now, one of my most famous videos that we have online, when I say famous, more than my mum and dad have watched it, is the string changing video, which a lot of you guys might have actually found me because of. And today I'm changing my strings. I've just already slackened them off using this amazing little tool here. If you don't have one, get one. They're just so easy to use. I'm going to show you now the strings, how damaged they are. Can you see that rust going on in there? And if you look at it's really loose here, the G string here actually has grooves cut into the string. It's hard to see that from there, but there's actually grooves cut into the string. So if I run my finger along, it's like clunk, clunk, clunk. You can actually imagine the string, the copper winding is actually coming off. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to show you little snippets of things, mostly focusing on the issue is that people are having from the video and the comments is this little skinny string here, which I've actually got very slack here, that last E string, okay? So I'm going to show you a few little things and then I'll go into it. So I'll be back in a sec. So one of the cool things about this little tool right here is that on the edge, you can see in here on the end, it's hard to point to here, I'm holding the camera at the same time, a little bit here is where I've got a little thing that's designed to basically get in the grooves here and flip up the little pegs. Now I've taken the pressure off the string so they're all slack, and you just basically use that tool to get in there and just lever out each one of those pegs. Now you might find that happens just like that you get a few hard ones. That's very normal. So once they all come out, I'm going to work on that one with two hands, guys, so I'll be back in a sec. Got that last one out. So they're all loose now, so I can pull them all out, and that's what I do. I make sure they don't get lost, just put them somewhere handy. That bit is done. Too easy. My camera work is amazing right now. And then these strings that are so loose, they should all pop out reasonably well. Pretty simple, eh? So the next thing we do is all the strings are out now from the pegs and they're just hanging loose. And individually, I usually start from the big fat string, the biggest number 6 string, and I just wind it off and pull it out and then put it to the side. Simple as that, and just keep going through them all until they're all done. That's real easy. Okay. And so while the strings are all off, I've just taken all my strings off here now. There's nothing on there. It's completely stringless. It's a good opportunity to get a cloth out and just wipe down the surfaces and get rid of any little dirt that might have accumulated. So those strings I've had on that I just took off, I normally wouldn't have them on this long, but they've been on for 6 months. They would probably be, actually probably 8 or 10 months old. Yes, that's right, 8 or 10 months old. I haven't actually broken any of those strings. So those guys out there that have problems with my string changing video, I have not broken a string in 10 months on this guitar, and I use it as my daily go-to and for gigs, and I've used it for all the videos. Admittedly, those I wouldn't never have them on that long, but it shows you how good the strings are and how good the technique of putting them on is. So if anyone out there is having issues and breaking strings or got complaints, which is the only thing that's only happened with that, maybe with this string here, the little E string, you just haven't been following the video right, and I'm going to try my best now to correct that so you know what's going on. And you might already know, but these are the ones I used, Elixir Nano Webs. Elixir Nano Webs. Excuse the box here, I've got a big old box here. These are the ones I love. They stay amazingly clear and bright, and they sound like brand new strings for a lot longer than any other strings I've used. Maybe the other companies have caught up by now, but I've been using Elixirs now as my go-to. They're probably, in my country, they're almost twice as expensive as the other strings, but performance-wise, you're getting more than twice the length of engagement out of them, I suppose. They're lasting a lot longer. So I'm just going to show you the very basics. You would have seen this if you've seen my video already, but here is the ball of the ball of the string, and here's the peg. Now the peg has little grooves in it which are in line for the string to go down the line of. I'm just pushing it in, I'm holding it there, and I'm pulling firmly on this at the same time, and then I squiggle, that's a good way of saying it, wiggle that like peg and then push it in, and that locks it. So here we go, same thing, looks like a different string but it's just a different era, and we're doing the same thing, pushing it in, wiggling, and boom, ready to rock, done. Now another thing to note here, is that I haven't got any special equipment with me here. I'm in Thailand, I'm just doing it how I would at a gig. Usually it's sitting right on your lap because I haven't got a special tool to sit the thing on, a special table with special whatever's going on. So you don't need any of that stuff necessarily. It's nice to have, but not always the situation when you need to change a string in a hurry. Right, I'm going to tend to sit awkwardly so I can just video this. Oh, something fell down. So this is what we're doing for the end of the guitar here. I'm putting my first string on, which is the 6th string, the E, and I come in the inside of the string, or the machine head, and what I do is I wrap it round, in this case, maybe once or once and a half, and then on top of the strings, this is really important, I thread through the end of the string on top of itself. I'm pushing in strings down, I'm threading that through so it's made so it holds it all underneath. So if I let go now, it holds them all down so that they stay below the hole where the string is poked through. There's a reason for that, and it stops anything from looping back over itself and causing those little kinks that you get in the string, which cause the breakage. Just like a garden hose, when you get the kink in, you don't get any water. Exactly the same thing with strings, and if you pull that tight with pressure or you wind that up, that's when strings break. So that's what's happening with our bottom string, with our little E string down the thin one. That's generally what happens when you don't see what you're doing close enough, okay? Just showing here with the A string, same thing, threading in. So I'm coming into where the inside of the string is, okay? Don't let it kink over itself. See my other hand's holding it down. I go around again. Don't let that loop over itself. And then once it's gone through maybe 1 or 2 winds, thread that through. Just watch your fingers there, and that should hold it in place. Pull it tight. Boom, you're ready to go. It's a bit different the other way. A lot of people do it this way, where they'll thread it through first, which is cool too. So they'll thread it through first. They won't pull it tight completely, but they'll get it close, and then they'll use the winder. I'll show you that. They'll use the winder to create the... Oh, let me do that so you can see how awkward it is already. They'll use their winder to create the little bend. It's really awkward to show you here, but... And just make sure if you do that, you keep the string low on itself. Now, what I don't like about this is the amount of pressure that goes on the string straight away. I don't know, for some reason for me, it feels like the string is at a really hard angle straight away, and it's becoming very, it goes through the hole and then it's pulled back around itself. I guess they all end up in that position anyway, but that's the theory that I don't like with that one, so that you do potentially get breakages from that. So ladies and gents, just remembering when you're doing this that these 3 machine heads, the inside is this area. When you're doing these strings, the inside is from this side. So what I mean is, when you come to wind these strings, don't go this way around the string, go this way. So you're keeping that constant from the inside. Does that make sense? Hopefully that does. Otherwise you'll get some weird angles. So I'm about to do the very last one, which is the one everyone has issues with, which you hopefully will be able to see, which is this little E string here. So this is the machine head I'm trying to put it on, and I want to go the inside, and I'm going to wrap it around, but I'm going to make sure it doesn't flip over the top of itself, because if it does, that's where we get string breakages. So now I wouldn't normally do this angle because this is just for the camera, but here we go. Holding it down. 1, 2, 3 will be enough for me. Pushing it all down, and the tricky bit is making sure it stays down, because if it loops over itself, what I'd recommend is just let go of everything, don't put any pressure on it, and just gently unwind the whole thing and try and start again. And now I'm keeping that over the top of itself, and you can't really tell that, I'm sure, back there. If I pull that tight, that is all looking good. I doubt I'll have any issues with that. I very rarely do. Sometimes you just break strings because the string is faulty. That's the other reason. Right, back in a second. So I'm going to show you this one now with the string winder. I'm going to wind the strings up, and I know there's all sorts of theories on this, whether it should be this at this point that you do this, or it should be later on, but I'm just going to rip into it, and I'm not worried about pressure on the neck or any of that sort of stuff, because I've literally had 0 issues in the 30 years that I've been a professional guitarist of any neck strain or whatever's going on with the neck that everyone talks about, or potentially people talk about. And just wind, oops, that's the wrong way, wind the correct way. Now you've noticed all these strings are flopping around the place. You might want to snip them. I like to snip it at the end because it shows me that any slack has been taken up, but if you don't want to be poked in the eye and you're really worried about that, you can snip it early. But I'll try and be careful. like I say, I'm showing this for you guys. I wouldn't normally have this weird angle going on. And I tighten, and as I tighten, I use my finger to flick the note, just to let me know that something's going on down there. And the other thing is, I just noticed, I look down on the guitar here, down the bottom, these can get pulled out as that's going on because the slack's coming out and it sometimes pulls the peg out. So just literally just go and push this peg back in and keep an eye on it as you're tightening it. So I'm going to tighten it again, looking down at that peg, and it's starting to come out a wee bit, and it should be firm in there now. Any slack should be taken up, and all I'm looking for is a little bit of tension. It doesn't have to be completely tight or the perfect note at this stage. And then I'm just going to do the same for each string. Oop. As soon as I hear a note, I'm done. I'm good. Making sure that they're all in the right lanes with the right, connected to the right strings. Okay, this last one I'm just going to do. Right, so everything's, I mean, they're all slack and they're all just flopping away there because I've got, once again, I haven't got the guitar set up beautifully here in Thailand, so it's a bit flappy. But now that we've got a lot of tension on them, most of the slack's been taken up. You'll see all them, you can ping them all out, all these ends bits. I'm just going to give them a snip now with my little snipper. So using the little snipper, this just happened to be a little pair of pliers I brought with me, and there's a wee cutter inside there. So don't cut the main string, just cut the bit that's sticking out. That's all the bit that we don't need. It's a good idea to snip these. A lot of people like tying them up in big circles, like a lot of the blues players used to do in the old days, and they have the circles hanging off, you know, so they've got some extra slack there, I guess, if they break a string or something. But these days, no one really worries about that. We just we snip it up and make it all look tidy. Oop. That's looking good. New strings, I'm excited. So what I've done just quickly, and I forgot to film it, but I just tuned roughly up to an up into standard tuning. So once I've gotten all the notes there, this is the next thing I do, which is the string stretching part. Now this part's really important, and I learnt this from Tommy Emmanuel, because he stretches the strings. Obviously they're brand new, so there's a bit of give, either in this end of the guitar, in the tuning head part where the strings are wrapped around, or even in the string itself where it just needs to actually flex a bit more. So, and you'll notice, like I've already gone down now just with that little pull I've done. So I get in there with my thumb, I pull, and about 3 or 4 different parts on the string, then I let go. And you'll notice it's gone down just ignore my rattling there. That's just because like I keep saying, I'm in Thailand at the moment, the humidity's amazingly high, and it's caused my action to go lower, which is causing the strings to hit the frets, and I don't have the tool with me, because it's back in New Zealand, to actually adjust the neck to make it work here. But so bear with me. So I'm just going to stretch it again, and then probably 2 or 3 times. I'm going to notice that's all gone down again. Back to that note, tune, stretch, stretch. Not pushing too hard, just going to a bit where it feels like it's pulling again. That was just a lot less I had to tune in, and then one more, it's probably going to be enough. You don't want to get too carried away, just get roughly right. You'll notice when you start playing with new strings, I'm just doing the next one, when you start playing with new strings, that normally happens. They go out of tune a lot, you know. You change, especially you change one string because you might have broken one, and you'll notice that string will start to go out of tune straight away, and it becomes frustrating initially, but this gets rid of that frustration. And as the strings get tighter, there's less and less give in them, generally. Like you might only have to stretch them once or twice. That's pretty good. My little E there, which is not broken, guys, so it must work. Okay, it's pretty good. One more time, back through them all. So there we have it all tuned up. The guitar is finally back at its best. It's sounding amazing. Just needing a wee bit of maintenance when we get back to New Zealand in about 2 weeks' time. But yeah, hopefully that helps you guys. Maybe there's something you learned that is a bit new there, and we'll see you again soon.